so we can set all this up. Jacob said he should be in here in a second. Oh, he's already in here. Let's go. And I think Taylor's in here too. So I got both my mods in here.
Sweet. Oh yeah, they're in here. I see them.
Let's go, dude. I'm ready. I'm excited.
What up, boys?
First ever episode of Gaming Tonic. Yo! What's up, Jacob? Getting our tweets and our Discord announcements ready and doing our audio checks. I think Joker's mom just like walked into the room or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully, can you talk for a second, Joker? I just want to be sure. Stole your
What's up,
SMG
guys?
build? Doesn't surprise me. Just say a few words. Make sure that we're like balanced volume wise.
Hello.
Jacob should be able to tell us.
Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing today?
Live now. Vince is slightly louder. Okay, let me turn myself down just a bit.
Okay.
All right, let's try right there. Hopefully, I'm going to talk for a second just so you can hear me speaking, and then Joker, go ahead and talk for a little bit.
Hello. How's it going? This is Joker.
Oh gosh, https //
Perfect.
Twitch.
Awesome.
.tv/justvince. I think that's it, right? Oh yes, okay. All right, we're at 2:55, so we got 5 minutes to go through. Let's see here. Trying to think of everything. Yeah. Oh, get the Discord message ready. That's right. Okay, hold up. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that on mobile too. I don't want to mess with the scene at all. I'm going hard in the Summit gear sets because I'm swimming in Hunter's gear, but 0 Aces gear. Oh, then yeah, do it, dude. Here, you want to take a look, Jacob? This is what we have so far for the setup. So my cam, his cam, the follower, sub, and dono tickers at the top. Ace the Turtle, what's up, buddy? We're just doing our we're just doing our last like technical checks real quick before we get started, and then we're gonna get going. Wow, nice. You like it, dude? Hey, props to Joker on this one. He put in all the work on that. But
Thanks,
you may recognize the starting soon. Oh no, wait. Oh, you made a custom starting soon too, right?
I made it a little custom. It's a little placeholder for now.
Okay, we got something in the works though. The starting soon one that you made for me, Jacob, I sent him that one, so we might use something that's similar to that. Just because I like the angles, how it does it diagonally, like that, like with the outlines and everything. I think that looks really clean. But we're either gonna use that or like something similar. So we're doing the last of our technical tests, getting our announcements ready to go and cooking. Oh
shoot.
Let me.
Thanks for being here though, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm amazing. I get it. You're right. You're not wrong. Live now with the first ever episode of Gaming Tonic. With @the ordinary Joker.
Ooh.
Just need to come up with a dope icon, like a bubbling alchemist flask. So we're thinking of for like, okay, so there's a couple ideas floating around here, okay? Alchemist flask tonic, like tonic in that way, and then also like alcohol glass tonic, like gin and tonic type deal. So like the idea that I floated out was basically 2 controllers with like a glass in the middle that you would have like Jack and Coke in or something like that style of alcohol glass, not like a shot glass or anything like that. You know what I mean? So we're floating both ideas out right now. So there's a couple of concepts in the work as far as icons go. You guys gonna start getting wasted for the pod? Well, once Joker's of legal age to drink, perhaps. but not yet. Like I'm probably gonna drink, not for the first episode, because like the only thing that I have to mix right now is I've got a bottle of Grey Goose and a bottle of Patron downstairs.
There you go.
And I was like, what can I mix? And I was considering like doing some Grey Goose and Red Bull, but like I'm already like pseudo shaking because I'm nervous. We'll send him seltzer. There we go.
Yeah, give me some seltzer, guys.
When I first heard the title, I thought of the alcohol side of tonic. Yeah, I feel.
Got some good old H2O here.
All right, it is last minute countdown time, so we're gonna get cooking here. I sent out the announcements. I'm sending out my tweet right now. So we're gonna go back to the starting soon screen. Everybody who's here, y'all are absolutely amazing. I love you guys. Thank you for stopping in for our first ever
Yep.
episode of Gaming Tonic. I
Thank
hope
you
you guys
guys.
enjoy. All right, got the cams up, everything ready to go. Fade out the music real quick. There we go. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. I am just Vince. This is this is the guy who's muted.
The Ordinary Joker. What's
And
up,
he's
guys?
here. What's up, man? How's your day going so far?
Great, man. How are you doing?
Oh, dude, awesome. I've been so excited about this all week long. I've been just
Yes.
hyped, like brainstorming everything that I want to do for the podcast in my head all week long. So, just to give a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to do a weekly recap. We're going to give a little bit of information about like me as a streamer, as a new podcaster, all the content creation that I do and everything that I work on. We're going to give Joker the opportunity to do the same thing, give him a chance to shout out his channel, say what he's about, what he's been working on content creation wise. And then also we're going to be talking about the new consoles that are coming out, because there has been quite a bit of information about both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One. We've got release dates, we've got prices, we've got console exclusives or the lack of console exclusives, a massive acquisition by Microsoft that happened earlier this week. So we've got a lot of interesting information to talk about. So, Joker,
Sir.
tell us a little bit about you and what you do content creation wise and what you've been working on this week.
Sounds good. I am the Ordinary Joker. Some people call me Joker. I am a variety streamer. I do a whole lot of gaming. Pretty much whatever catches my attention in any given week. I do a lot of just chatting stuff, a lot of interactivity with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
This week I've been playing a lot of Among Us, and I got started on Hades on Friday yesterday. Been having a good time with that.
I absolutely love Hades. Love Supergiant Games. Also developed Bastion and Transistor, two absolutely incredible, like narrative-driven games in the genre. And I really like the way that Supergiant Games have done things to push forward genres narratively that other developers haven't done. They did it first with Bastion in the ARPG genre and like the pseudo city building area where you could upgrade your town and like through that upgrade your character. But overall, the narration that they did in that game is incredible, and they really brought that forward into Hades as well. So
Yeah,
tell us a
man.
little bit more about that.
I really enjoyed the dialogue in Hades, man.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get a boon or a blessing from a certain god, and then you'll go and do another encounter or pick up another boon from another god, and they'll actually like comment on the things that you had done in that run, even though it's all completely random. I think that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the parts that draws me to it the most.
So like the upgrades that you get, so let's say you run into Aphrodite earlier on, and then one of the other gods you run into is Artemis later on, and she'll say something
Yeah,
about what you got from Aphrodite or your interaction with her and all that stuff, because it's all rooted in that
exactly.
lore. Absolutely
Yep.
love it. So tell us a little bit about your Among Us games. Among Us, pretty big game on Twitch. It's been blowing up massively the last like month or two, I want to say. Might have been a
Yeah.
little longer than that, but that's when I've really noticed it. So
Right. Yeah, it's a fun game, man. I really feel like I can get myself out there socially, really interact with everyone and build some relationships.
yeah, nothing says I love you to your friends and family like lying to them and stabbing them in the back. It's a real
That's right.
great way to get close and bring the community together. Mutual hatred of other people.
Exactly.
I've noticed a trend in your streams specifically. People tend to target you first and assume that you're the one that you're the one that's
Yeah,
responsible for killing everybody else pretty much immediately as soon as the
we
round
we
starts.
we have a running joke in the channel that I'm public enemy number 1. That's what we call me.
I like that. I like that. All right, so just a little bit about my channel now and what I do. Typically, I stream a lot of competitive games, anything that gets the competitive juices flowing. That's what I'm into. I love the rush that you get just from competing with other people and winning. And then I love the salt mine that is me when I lose. Of course, naturally, like any competitive gamer. And I've been recently playing a lot more like RPG, MMO-esque live service style games. I've been thoroughly enjoying Path of Exile. It's a like pseudo MMO RPG type deal. MMO in the aspect that like you're constantly playing with a lot of other people. I think the group size is capped at like 6 or 8 or something like that. But I haven't done too much of the end game content. I've just really recently started on this new high season and started my build on that, and I've been enjoying that quite a bit. And then I've also been playing the Division 2 and starting getting a little bit involved in that community. I've actually met a really like good group of people who are all really helpful and like excited about the game and passionate about it. And then one of my mods, Grinth Waldo, whatever like name he goes by today, he was actually super into the game at launch, and I stopped playing it, and now I'm playing it again, and he's back playing it with me. So games like that always better with friends. But that's pretty much my content and what I've been working on. And then I've had this podcast cooking up. I've had the idea floating around in my head since I started listening to podcasts like 2 months ago ish, I want to say. I actually started listening to podcasts because I heard of a World of Warcraft podcast, and I was like really like excited about the new World of Warcraft expansion that's coming out. So I was just looking for like any information that I could get my head around at all. And so I started listening to the WoW Killer podcast. And that's just 2 guys that do a lot more like lore, and they'll talk about the news of the game that's coming out and stuff like that, and just discuss things that are like more important to them, not necessarily like meta gaming topics. Because it's really popular to have like discussion about like the rating and the high level Mythic Plus and like arena world championships and stuff in World of Warcraft and the real competitive side. And these guys are just like, this is what we love about the game. Let's talk about it. And they're just entertaining and fun. And I was like, that's the kind of energy that I want.
That's what we want.
And that's the kind of content that I enjoy producing and would like to produce in the future. You know, so that kind of inspired me to go on this journey. So into the next segment, we're here to talk about some news. So right now, just starting out at this point, Joker, if you had to pick one, PlayStation 5 or Xbox One, just no reasons why, just off the hat.
PS5.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
I mean, you own a computer, correct? I mean, that's what a gaming computer. Yeah. I mean, that's so. Assuming you own a gaming computer, what reason do you have to own an Xbox One? Or an Xbox Series X, as the case may be. That's going to be the new console coming out.
The only reason I could think of getting an Xbox One because I have a PS or a PC would be the Game Pass.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely it.
That is the big draw. The Xbox Play Anywhere initiative, as they've been calling it, is, I would actually say, like, for as much as I don't want to get an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S, the Game Pass initiative and everything that they're doing to kind of push their live service forward is probably the most consumer-friendly practice in all of gaming right now. Just the entire library that they have on Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass for PC, the fact that you can subscribe for $15 a month and get their online service, get whatever free games they give away with gold, and then on top of that, get the entire Game Pass library. I mean, when you look at PlayStation, who it's like, oh, on the release of the PlayStation 5, you can get these new these old PS4 games that you probably have already played if you're a Sony fan, included with your PlayStation 5. That's kind of neat, but they're really only doing that to try to keep up with Game Pass, and they're not coming close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not at all.
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Vince. What were you moving into?
So you look at something like Game Pass, where they're like, every single new game coming out from our developers, you get to play on day one, included with Game Pass for $15. So if you're getting enough game time out of all of the other games in the Game Pass library, on top of that, you're skipping out on having to pay $60 for any new Microsoft first-party games. Which, while there's not much of a reason to have the Series X when you have a computer, I do understand the appeal of Xbox for people who don't want to shell out the money to build a gaming PC. You know?
Yeah, I just...
Oh, believe me. I get it. I get it. I see the look on your face, and I know. And we'll get there, because our first topic that we're going to be talking about, the first main topic of the news section, is PlayStation 5. So,
absolutely.
Joker, release date for PlayStation 5 is...
It's going to be November 12th. It's going to be priced at $500 for the disc edition.
Let's go.
And then they had the discless edition too, I believe, which was
$400. Yes, right. Sir. $400 for the discless edition of the PlayStation 5. And the significant thing about this is the inside, the core part, aside from the disc portion, okay? The only difference is the disc portion.
Yeah.
Everything else is exactly the same. There's no downgrades. It's $100 cheaper just because you won't be able to purchase physical discs. That's it. And I think that this is the most significant thing that's going to impact sales, aside from exclusives, like short of what they're doing with the games, is the fact that it's the same console just without a disc drive.
Well,
So it's $100 less, but just as powerful.
and I can say from personal experience, if I had to pick between the two and they're exactly the same, I'm probably going to get the discless one because even with the disc tray in my PS4 that I have now, I only buy digital for the most part unless I want like a collector's edition of something or like other than that, I'm buying pure digital.
I genuinely cannot remember the last time I bought a physical game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like I'm struggling to recall the last time I bought a physical game.
And then we play on PC as well, so
Yeah.
we're always buying digital. It's just we're accustomed to it. So yeah, I would take that $100 price cut in exchange for a disc tray. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think most people would take the $100 price cut over purchasing a $500 Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Especially looking at, most of the people that we play with, at least for me. I know you play with some console guys, but most of the guys I play with are PC gamers. And they look at the
Right.
Xbox Series X and they're like, so I could pay $500 to have a machine that's not as strong as my computer, that will only play the same games that I can already get on my computer.
Right. Makes no sense.
What's the purpose there, So
Exactly.
there's a lot of momentum going forward for Sony already. Oh, Ring Fit Adventure for Switch. Thank you. Okay, I just saw that right now. Yes, Ring Fit Adventure for Switch was the last thing I bought physical because you have to get the ring.
How was that?
Absolutely incredible. It's so
Yeah?
good. It's so good. Who knew?
I've tried
RPG plus exercise. They take my addiction to progression in video games and they marry that with exercise, which I hate. And it's
They
just
turned it
perfect.
into a good habit. Yeah.
It's the perfect combination. Who would have thought?
That's awesome.
So, realistically, the next thing that a lot of people are going to compare on the more hardcore side of things, not so much the casual gamer, but that's going to be the specs themselves on the hardware. So looking only at PS5 right now, what do we got coming up in the PS5?
Hardware-wise?
Yeah.
Okay, we have the CPU is going to be an AMD's Zen 2 based CPU with 8 cores at 3.5 gigahertz. The GPU is the 10.28 T-flop 36 CU at 2.23 gigahertz.
Okay. Pretty good.
Let's see how much memory this thing's got.
16 gigabytes. Yeah, 16 gigs DDR6.
Right, okay, DDR6. We got the internal storage at 825 gigabytes, SSD.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
and quick note about that. It's listed as 1 terabyte, but it's actually 825 gigabyte SSD, and then on top of that, that's not including like the room for the operating system and what it actually needs to run.
I was looking at that in the
So,
notes. That's
it
a
is
weird
actually
number to have.
Yeah, it is actually an 825 gig, and then minus whatever it's going to take to run the system, like the operating system and all that. So it's going to be a little under 800 gigabytes, I would imagine, for your storage, which isn't much
Right.
realistically.
And then I'd say the most notable spec, aside from those things, would be that optical drive, the 4K UHD Blu-ray drive.
Assuming you go with the disc
Pretty
edition.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So another thing that PlayStation has kind of been talking about that I haven't looked into too much, but this is something that I discussed with you lightly earlier this week, is on the triggers on the remote. So I've got an Xbox remote here for like modeling purposes, but the triggers on the remote right here. Okay.
Okay.
They're saying they're going to have haptic feedback.
Yes.
What's the deal
Is that
with that?
not cool? You don't like that?
Why?
So
What does it do?
the idea from what I've seen is that, for example, if your character has a bow in the game and you pull on that trigger a little bit, you're gonna feel the tension in that bow. And I
Okay.
don't know. I think that's cool. I think it's more immersive. It's a step in a cool direction.
Okay. So outside of pulling the bowstring, realistically, is there any other scenario in which you're like, okay, this might be useful? Because I mean, obviously, Horizon Zero Dawn is a big title. The bow combat was a huge thing in Horizon.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the most prominent features of that game, was the incredible bow combat. So, what for? What's the purpose? What does it help?
Gameplay wise,
Yeah,
I don't
gameplay
think it
wise.
really helps anything. I'm thinking more on like I'm thinking
Just
more on like the immersion side. Like,
okay.
granted, I believe kind of like Ace just said in chat. I think there should be options to turn that sort of thing off. You know,
Mhm.
if that's something that bothers you, but having the option to experience that in a game where that might be a more enjoyable experience for you, I feel like it isn't such a bad thing. I think it's cool.
I think also where some of these things have come from, like the more like things that could seem kind of gimmicky, but like the like sensation of touch and pressure and all that. A lot of where the desire to have that comes from, I think, is coming from the big push into VR that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Because that's immersing gamers in a way that they've never been immersed before. Even when there were like ways to put this whole screen over your eyes to kind of give you the feeling of immersion of virtual reality, it's at a level now that it's never been before. And I think specifically with Half-Life Alyx and the way that you can interact with objects around you and grab onto them and things like that, developers are looking for a way to bridge that gap of immersion from virtual reality into just handheld console gaming. You know,
And
holding a
I
controller in
like
your
that.
hands.
I think that's awesome. As you know, I got into gaming myself as almost, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree. It's sort of like an escape from that daily grind or whatever you got going on in your head. And if I can pick up a controller and just pretend like I'm in that world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're adding little things that can help me feel that way even more, I respect that. I think it's a cool little change. And if
Now,
you don't like it, turn it off. That
yeah, assuming you can turn it off.
assuming you can, yes.
Now, one of the areas that I like just thought of right now, one of the biggest titles for PlayStation, like going back as far as the PlayStation 2, has been Gran Turismo.
Oh,
And when I
yeah.
think of haptic feedback like that, I think of being able to feel pushing on the gas when you hit the trigger.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like a little bit of pressure when you push on the gas or when you like go to push the clutch for a gear shift, that sort of thing, assuming that you're playing in manual mode instead of automatic because you hate yourself. Like I think that would be a really interesting application.
Even
But
aside from the trigger, I feel like it would be cool, like, the haptic they'll probably find a way to where, you're getting that driving sensation in your hand. You're feeling yourself drive through this gravel or, pavement, whatever it may be you're driving on.
yeah. So, I mean, personally, I look at that and I'm like, this is a gimmick. It's got to be a gimmick, you know? Like I think of the what's the Switch, the Real Feel? Is that what it's called? There's like a
I
Switch
don't know the
remote,
name for it.
like HD Rumble. That's what it is. Okay, I
HD
see.
Rumble,
It's
okay.
it's all rattling around up there. I got it. But HD Rumble feature, and I think of the amount of times that I've wanted to feel my controllers vibrate. It's never. I shut off vibration in most of the games that I play, to be honest with you, because when I'm playing on keyboard and mouse, my keyboard and mouse don't vibrate.
I can understand that.
I don't
Yeah, I
want
could get that.
vibration in my games. God forbid I happen to rest my controllers on a wooden table for a half a second,
And it
okay?
goes
And the vibrate goes off, and then it's worse than an earthquake happening.
It's
Like,
true.
it's ridiculous, you know?
See,
Like
okay,
that's
but
not a feature I like.
you have haptic vibration in your phone? Have you
I,
ever left your phone on the table
on vibrate?
with haptic? You
No.
don't get such a bad rattle off the haptic,
What
man.
is
It's
what is haptic vibration? I say I have my phone on silent all the time. If I miss your call, I'll call you back. Like,
fair enough, fair enough. Okay. But yeah, no, I can definitely see your side of things. I can understand how it could be gimmick. I think part of me is just curious and I just want to like see how it works, you know?
and another thing that I'm curious about is they recently brought Horizon Zero Dawn over to PC.
Mhm.
Assuming that they do the same with the second one whenever Horizon Zero Dawn 3 gets announced, because I can't imagine a blockbuster series like this that did as well as it did on PlayStation 4 is going to do any worse on PlayStation 5. I don't see any way they don't make a third one. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, so assuming the second one comes to PC, when I plug in my PlayStation 5 remote to PC, will I be able to use haptic feedback in PC games?
Ooh, that's interesting. I haven't considered that.
So
I
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
because one
know.
of the things that I've seen people doing some interesting stuff with is the touchpad on PlayStation and using that on PC. Because your PS4, your DualShock 4 remote does have
Mhm.
a touchpad in the middle, and people have found ways to integrate that into PC games now, either through
Yeah.
modding or something else. So I think that there might be some interesting things the community can do with that as well.
Definitely. I'm sure, if there's a will, there's a way. I think we'll see that a lot.
All right, so moving right along here, we're looking at launch exclusive games, and there's a reason we're talking about PlayStation 5 first. So up
Mhm.
first, we've got Astro's Playroom 3D platformer, which is a spin-off of Astrobots VR, which was a PlayStation VR exclusive and widely regarded as the best PlayStation VR exclusive that came out. Just a fun, enjoyable, like pseudo party game that you could just play and have a good time with, relax, very chill platformer featuring cute, adorable little robots. So 3D platformers, is that your style of game? I mean, is that something you typically invest time in?
Not really, to be honest. I'm I haven't I hadn't even heard about this game until you brought it up to me when we were speaking earlier this week. So this one's new to me.
So realistically, when I think of launch titles, things that I'm going to want to buy a console for, my first thought, unless it's a new Nintendo console and it's a new Mario game, is not 3D platformer. The PlayStation 4 launched with Knack, which the reception for was everybody felt pretty whelmed. Not necessarily over or under, but they were just fine with it. You know, it was
Knack's
there.
Game of the year.
Knack is game of the year.
Absolutely. Even the 2020 game of the year. It went far.
Yeah.
Timeless classic.
Absolutely. Everybody remembers Knack fondly. Everybody knows what Knack is.
Nobody will forget it either.
When I say Knack, does a picture even come into your guys' minds, honestly? Like, do you even know what he looks like? Like, it was forgettable, you know?
Yeah.
But when I look at a game like Astrobots, you know, Astro's Playroom, the 3D platformer one, versus Astrobots, which, again, was regarded as the best PlayStation VR exclusive, you know? I mean, so that's kind of a big deal, you know? I look at it and I go, can the developers find a way to transfer that fun and that energy that was in the VR game and put it into a 3D platformer? And I think they can. And I think that it won't sell blockbuster numbers, but I think that it will review critically very well. Like, it might not be, you know, a Mario Odyssey or a Mario Galaxy, but I think that this is going to be a solid 8 out of 10 game. Maybe wait for a price drop down to $40 and then pick it up at 40 or even like $30-ish. I'm not sure what price it's releasing at, but I couldn't see myself paying $70 for it if it's going to release at the new MSRP that they're using for the next gen console games.
Dude, that's another thing we can talk about. That's tough.
Yeah, we can honestly save that for another episode in and of itself, just discussing the $10 price hike. And in some cases, you're looking at the difference between, like, I think they said Godfall is going to be 50 euros in like across the pond, and then for a digital edition, and then like 70 euros for a physical edition. That's a massive jump. That's
another
insane.
reason to buy the digital or the discless version, dude.
Yeah. So next we're talking about Demon Souls, which this is one that's near and dear to my heart. I mean, I love difficult games. I mean, I pretty much anything short of getting over it, like, you know, because that's just a little too frustrating for me, but I love a good challenge. Have you played any of the Souls games?
I've played Dark Souls 3 briefly, and then I played Sekiro, if you count that. I got pretty far in Sekiro. That was about as far as I've ever gotten in a Souls game.
I mean, I consider Sekiro very much in the same vein. I mean, very, very difficult. It's a lot more fast-paced than the Souls or even Bloodborne games were. But, I mean, I definitely consider that in the same vein. I mean, you're fighting things that are bigger, that are difficult for you to fight, that you typically wouldn't have a chance against unless you were skilled at the game.
Game's tough, man. I got to the headless monkey. I couldn't beat him. Probably over 100 attempts, and I put it down and really haven't picked it up since. So
perfect.
So this game, it looks really cool. I really enjoyed the trailer. A lot of people in my chat have been really, really hyped for this game, so I have high hopes for it.
So Demon Souls is a game that originally came out on the PlayStation 3. And this is kind of the starting point for all of the Souls games and Soulsborne games. So, I mean, pretty much the kickoff for Dark Souls, for Bloodborne, for Sekiro. And they're pretty much going back to that because people asked for a port on PlayStation 4 for so long, and they're finally bringing it to PlayStation 5. And I think this is going to go down as pretty much the masterclass on how to do a proper remaster. Just looking at the graphics compared to the PS3 version, when you look at a game like Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning that just came out recently, and they upscaled a few of the textures and then improved the level scaling and the loot drops. And those were the most major changes. And it doesn't look that much different. It plays slightly better, but like they could have done so much more with the game world and they just didn't. They were just like, let's do this as lazily as possible just to, you know, catch that crowd that wanted this game to be good on launch, fix a few things enough to get people to buy it again.
Yeah.
And then release it to the masses.
That's how it goes. That's the remaster formula these days is just I feel like it most of the time it's just they're pandering at people's nostalgia, just getting
Hmm.
them to buy things just because they know they will, and not really improving the game or actually remastering it.
Yeah, yeah. I think Demon Souls is going to be one that's going to review incredibly well and also sell consoles
Yeah,
because the Souls community, the Soulsborne community, are some of the most like cult following diehard fans like of any game. Like
I
I would
really
say,
hope I have really high hopes for it. I want them to make this the remaster that can, like you said, kind of set that bar for remasters.
absolutely. So the next game we're talking about is Destruction All Stars, which is some kind of like it looks like 3D platformer meets Destruction Derby meets Rocket League? Question
Yeah,
mark.
it's a weird, dude.
It's a little confusing to look at right now.
Yeah, I don't really understand it fully, but I think it's just my best guess, I think, is that it's like a team deathmatch with cars, and I
Most
don't know
likely.
much about the story or anything. It just looks
Yeah, from all the trailers I've seen, they don't give very much information to the background of why you're doing what you're doing aside from it looks like a
yeah,
game show almost.
you're just
And,
hopping in a car and crashing into people. That's
and
the
then you run
gist of
around and get power-ups and get another car. I mean,
it.
it
Yeah.
I can't expect that this is a game that they're expecting to do blockbuster sales, but it seems like a good way to be like, hey, look at some of the graphical things that you're going to be able to do in other games that we actually care about coming later.
Yeah.
You know, like this is more of a graphical showcase and a gameplay showcase and like maybe destruction like physics showcase for like what's possible on the hardware than anything else.
Absolutely. That's all I pretty much saw out of this game. I think that's what you get when a new console comes out and you see these random new titles. A good portion of them are going to be those kind of "Hey, look at me" type of games.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely things that are just trying to show off the hardware and give people an idea of what's to come.
All right.
So you want to tell us about the next one? What's next on our list? What do we got?
Godfall? I think you should
Godfall.
tell us about
Oh,
Godfall. You
okay. Yeah, you're
you
right.
were you were adamant about this one. I want to hear your side of things.
I'll say like when this got announced and I saw the gameplay trailer, I was like, this looks fine. Like the gameplay looked clunky and it looked like a demo that was from like very early in development, and I was like, this game is supposed to be coming out like with the launch of the PlayStation 5. If it is like this, it will be a massive disaster. That was the first trailer that they showed for the game. Like I think that was earlier this year or late last year that they showed the first trailer, and I could not have been more disappointed. And the last gameplay trailer that they showed, I was like, this is a game I'm going to buy. Like
Dude,
the improvement. I mean, I sent you the trailer for this game. It
yeah,
looked
man.
the combat looks so good. It looks fast. It looks snappy. It looks clean. The armor sets look great. The abilities are flashy. Like, what do you think? Just looking at the trailer that I sent you.
Just from the trailer you sent me, I'm gonna buy it. It looks incredible. It's beautiful. The gameplay looks fun. I mean, I might wait like a week to see how it actually ends up, but like I it looks incredible. I hadn't heard about this game until we spoke about it. So you really caught me off guard with that one. I'm waiting for this one probably more than anything else on this list.
Real quick, I'm gonna look it up real quick just for the people that are watching live, so you can see this is from 1 month ago, the most
This is
recent
coming to
trailer.
PC too, right?
Yes, this is also coming to PC. So for any PC players who are interested in this, you're gonna be able to get a look at this game as well. Hopefully y'all can hear this okay. So we got some combat here. It's a little like almost Devil May Cry meets Dark Souls, like actiony, but the vibe that I'm getting here is high fantasy Destiny. That's what I'm looking at,
Hello,
and that excites me.
my name is Keith Lee,
And it's
and I am
beautiful
the game
looking.
director for
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
On
like
behalf
look
of
at that. I mean, it is a
Games,
trailer,
we are
but
very excited to
Yeah.
share gameplay with you today.
and yeah. Obviously, you got to think about this. Like these scenes are obviously cherry picked from a closed environment. That they're
Yeah.
like, this looks good. This shows everything we wanted to show from the gameplay. This is what we're looking for.
Please
so,
keep in mind
let me close
that
this real
the game
quick.
is still a work in progress, and some things may change from the final product.
The jumping mechanics kind of 50-50. It was just like a quick time element when you cross there.
Sony's next generation
But like seeing this guy running around with the sword slashing these creatures, and then also like you can find loot inside of the game and stuff like that. Showcase a little bit more of the combat up here,
world
There we
is
so you
split up into the
can see some of the
elemental
combos and stuff like that.
do you know if this is
Water,
more on the
air,
like the soul side of things where dodging is going to be
Godfall
crucial, or do you think it's going to be more of like a hack and slash, like you're a little stronger, you can take a few hits kind of game?
I definitely think that it's going to be probably comparable to the difficulty level of Destiny 2. You know, so like not nearly as punishing as the Souls games, but you see like the combo where he like throws the sword into the air, jumps, grabs it, and like stabs whatever's below him.
Yeah,
Like,
that's badass.
Yeah, everything is flashy, everything is cool. Like I absolutely love it. I think that was an incredible trailer, and it looks great. I forgot to change back to the other scene. I'm incredible. There we go. But that's like a quick preview of what's coming up, and it's gonna be a like hack and slash ARPG style game, and that's what I'm looking for. You know, that's what I like.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
that is my style of game. I love progression. In
That
video
one's
games.
on my radar for sure. Thanks to you. I wouldn't have ever known.
There you go, guys. When you are playing your new favorite ARPG game later this year, remember, you heard it here first. Thank Vince.
Yeah.
When you are playing your least favorite ARPG game later this year, and it's terrible because it flopped and it actually released very poorly, thank Joker. Okay.
Thank me.
He told you about it. All right. That was not me. All right. So number 5, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yes. So Spider-Man Miles Morales, I guess they're dropping on release with the PS5. You know, I was really stoked for this because I thought they were releasing it as a whole game. I thought it was going to be pretty much a sequel to the first PS4 Spider-Man. And then I found out that it's going to be kind of like on the shorter end of things, similar to if anyone remembers infamous First Light, how it was just an extension of another character that was in the first or in Second Son.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked for me, honestly. I was really like I really liked that game and I really wanted a sequel out of it, but they gave us this, and I'm sure it'll be just as great. I imagine it's gonna play almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, hopefully they add some new mechanics with Miles and stuff, but that's kind of all I got to say about that one.
Yeah, this is one that I'm cautiously optimistic for. Probably going to pick it up on a sale. I'm not like a crazy big Spider-Man fan. I enjoyed the movies, but I've never been like a diehard Spider-Man fanboy. A guy that I work with has like a Spider-Man tattoo on his arm and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm buying the game immediately, bro." And I'm like, "Okay, hey, cool. You know, do you?" I'm not that guy. You know, I'm not that crazy about Spider-Man. This for me screams we needed something that was going to be big, that we could be like, look, Spider-Man on PlayStation 5 in a new game. So
and
it's go ahead.
Dude. I was gonna say I think we're seeing a trend in that sort of thing with the release games. It's not so much of like hopefully I'm wrong, but I feel like it's more on the side of let's just drop some stuff that looks really good and will pull a lot of attention to our console. Not so much like, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but in the past we've seen this kind of thing happen, and
Definitely.
the gameplay ends up being less than stellar, and they just use this to reel you in a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely think that's what they're doing with Miles Morales, and that's why it's going to be at a $50 price point instead of the $70 like typical like new MSRP that they're doing. It's only going to be $50 to pick this one up, and they're doing a like bigger edition, special edition for $70, I think. But I'm excited to see it.
For your coworker, you should tell him about that one. Hey man, you picking up the $70 edition?
I'm sure he already knows, and I'm sure he is. Honestly, he's like, 2 new costumes for $20. What a steal! All right, but so Spider-Man. I mean, it looks cool, but it's not something I'm crazy about personally. I might pick it up on a sale if I pick it up, but this definitely seems like something I could watch gameplay of and be like, I've seen what I wanted to see of this.
Yeah, I agree.
Whenever they do,
I wanted to give him the whole game, man. Miles Morales. I'm really passionate about that one. I love Spider-Man. Maybe not as much as the character, but he's cool.
I would not be surprised, and I mean this might be a bit of a hot take here, okay? So don't take my word on this, but I would not be surprised to see them do a Grand Theft Auto 5 style multiple main character story for the second Spider-Man.
Oh, so you're
for the
saying,
official entry, do one with both Miles Morales and is it Peter Parker in the Amazing, or is it the Amazing Spider-Man? Is that what it's called, or is it just Spider-Man on PlayStation 4?
Spider-Man on PlayStation.
It's just Spider-Man. Okay. So just Peter Parker and Miles Morales, like in a GTA 5 style, like being able to swap characters on the fly, do different missions that is related to both of their lore.
They kind of did that with the first Spider-Man in a way. Like, I don't know if you played it or not, but it wasn't like you could switch at a whim. But
I played it for like 5 hours.
Yeah,
I did not go through it. Yeah.
It was a great story, by the way, but it bounced between Spider-Man, and then you had like investigative missions with Mary Jane, and then Miles. He kind of just ran around and did nothing, but they did kind of use that idea.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see them take that Grand Theft Auto approach and do a multiple main character, like with fully fledged missions for both Peter Parker
I
and
like
Miles
that.
Morales, because
With
there is
them
a
actually,
lot of hype for Miles Morales after Enter
yeah.
the Spider-Verse.
And hopefully they actually give him some powers this time instead of just giving him a smartphone and having him blow up drones or whatever the hell they were doing. I don't know.
Whatever it was that was not nearly as exciting as real Spider-Man things.
Those
Yeah.
were definitely the most boring missions in the game.
Now, lastly on the list of exclusives that we're talking about is Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Have you played any of the Little Big Planet games before?
Little Big Planet sticks out in my memory as the game I played the most on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind when the PS3 came out, I was probably like 9, so
Okay.
that was like the game for me. I was like, hell yeah, I'm a little sack boy. I'm just grabbing stuff and playing with my friends. That was it to me. And clearly, I think something resonated with people too because what is this, like the fourth or fifth title now?
Yes. Yeah. The Little Big Planet that released on PlayStation 4 had a lot of bugs at launch and not many people enjoyed it. But after a few updates and fixes, and you could pick it up on sale for like $10, it started really blowing up because the like custom editor and like custom level creator in that game, like the
Yeah.
things that you could do with it were massive.
It's super cool, yeah. And dare I say, I think Little Big Planet, like the Sackboy, was
Mhm.
probably like the poster child of PlayStation for a while. Like he was a big
Absolutely.
deal.
Absolutely. I think that assuming this game lives up to the previous entries in the series and that the level editor, excuse me, and everything else is equally as good and on the same level as the ones that came before it and even better in some areas, bigger, newer, like more interesting things that you can do with it, we're going to
Yeah.
see both very interesting creations from people, incredible creations from people, and secondly, I think we could easily see Sackboy become the face of PlayStation's rated E for everyone audience, which is kind of how
Yeah.
they market it, you know?
Kick Knack out of there. Let's get
Yeah.
Sackboy back in.
Yeah. The only thing that confuses me on this one is with Sackboy: A Big Adventure coming, it's not a 3D platformer, it's a 2D platformer, but it is still a platformer and for that rated E audience. Do you think that this is going to draw sales away from Astro's Playroom, the 3D platformer, and vice versa?
Um,
Do you think that that kind of like is tapping the same audience and they might not get as many sales from one of these games as they would like because both of them are releasing?
my bias would say yes because if you put that game in front of me, Astro's Playroom and Sackboy in front of me, I know more about the Little Big Planet
Mm-hmm.
universe. I'd probably pick that one. And I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like that could definitely be said for a lot of other people too. Like they would recognize that name first. So yeah, I think it could definitely take away from Astro's Playroom.
Yeah. So, fun fact: I worked at GameStop for about 2.5 years, roughly, and during that time was the release of the Little Big Planet game on PlayStation 4. And for people that pre-ordered, they got a little Sackboy like keychain, and we had people
That's
coming in to the store looking for just the keychain. Like Sackboy is an icon among PlayStation fans.
oh
I mean,
man, you gotta buy the game if you want the keychain for $60. I can. That's
after everybody pre-ordered, we just started giving them to people who were coming and asking for them. Honestly, like as soon as everybody picked up their pre-order, like and like people had purchased the game, like it was after like the first week release, we were just giving them to people who wanted them. I mean, it was incredible. But like Sackboy is a face that people love to see. You know,
yeah.
he's happy-go-lucky, like cheery, just like customizable, like Mr. Potato Head-esque character who's just an incredible icon for PlayStation and a family-friendly character. You know.
He does it all.
And I feel like Kratos is kind of like Kratos or potentially like Ellie or Joel from The Last of Us, like are the mature audience like
yeah.
icons, you know, for PlayStation. But Sackboy is the one that you can put up there and everybody's like, that's Sackboy. That's basically PlayStation's Mario, just not nearly as recognizable, but it's close. I mean, he's getting there. He just needs that blockbuster game, and I think this might be it.
Maybe this will be the one.
So,
But yeah, I don't have anything much else to say on Sackboy. It's gonna hit me in my nostalgia. That's
it really is.
about
So,
it.
looking at the PlayStation Plus collection, which just recently got announced, there's
Mhm.
going to be like 18 games, I believe, coming out for that. And I'm just going to rattle those off real quick, and then you can talk about any that are interesting to you. But we've got God of War, the one that came out for PlayStation 4, the incredible like narrative-driven God of War, not the QTE sex scenes God of War from the PlayStation era. This is new Last of Us God of War. The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Battlefield 1, Monster Hunter World, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Ratchet and Clank, Infamous Second Son, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Detroit Become Human, Batman Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat X, Persona 5, Until Dawn, and Resident Evil Biohazard, which is Resident Evil 7 here in the States. So, do any of those stick out to you as going, this service is incredible because these like 3 games are in here? I mean, that's a big list of great games, but
oh my god, these are like some of the best games that ever came out on the PS4. God of War, The Last of Us, that goes 2 generations back now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Monster Hunter World was pretty good. If you like Monster Hunter, I loved Monster Hunter World. Thought that game was great. Second Son, incredible. I love that. Detroit Become Human, probably my favorite choose your own adventure game ever made. And then obviously Persona 5 is my jam. So
as your name is the ordinary Joker.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's my theme. So.
Your sub icon is a Joker mask from Persona.
Exactly.
So
for those that don't know, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd say at least a good quarter to half of this list is solid. And then did they say how much this was?
It's going to be included in PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be included in your subscription to PlayStation Plus.
Well, this is the opportunity to play any of those great games if you haven't already, then I would say.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I think that the biggest title on here, the most significant title on here, is actually Monster Hunter World. And I might catch a little bit of heat from that because of the people who love God of War, and it was an incredible game, true, you know? But it's a single player game that you play for, I mean, we'll say 40, 50 hours, you know, assuming you're doing side content and the collectibles. I think the story lasts about like 15 to 20 hours, depending on how slowly you go through it. But Monster Hunter World is a game that still consistently pulls like 2,000 to 7,000 viewers on Twitch on a regular basis.
I was watching someone play like 2 days ago.
Exactly. The following for the Monster Hunter games is massive. Saying, hey, you can play Monster Hunter World at the launch of the PlayStation 5, included with your PlayStation Plus subscription, is massive.
I agree. And that's just talking about a single title. So like when we put all of those other titles together, that's crazy.
Yeah, there is so much value here. And I think it's interesting that they chose Mortal Kombat X to tap the fighting game community. I'm a little surprised they didn't go Street Fighter with that.
Oh, okay.
But they do have Mortal Kombat 11 as well. But I think that this is kind of a way for WB Games to be like, hey, Mortal Kombat X is cool. Buy Mortal Kombat 11. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
To kind of like drive sales for their next game. And it would not surprise me to see, although Monster Hunter Rise did just get announced for the Switch. I think that was 2 weeks ago now.
All that,
whenever the last direct was, Monster Hunter Rise got announced for Nintendo Switch. It would not surprise me to see that Monster Hunter World is included here as kind of something to hold people over until the next Monster Hunter game comes out for, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, because it has been a Nintendo exclusive title for so long, and they lost the exclusivity to it. Like I want to say like when Monster Hunter development started on Monster Hunter World, but for a long time it was only on the 3DS and nowhere else. And I think the Wii U, PSP. For anybody who was unfortunate enough to own a Wii U. Oh, and it was on PSP. You're right.
I started playing Monster Hunter on the PSP. I've been playing since then, dude. So yeah, I love Monster Hunter. It's incredible. And then back to the Mortal Kombat X thing. You said you're surprised they didn't pick that instead of Street Fighter. Do you believe that Street Fighter has a larger audience than Mortal Kombat here in the States?
Not at all. When you put it like that, not even a little bit. I'll say Mortal Kombat is huge in America. America loves violence. You know, that's true, that's like our primary export in America. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't even surprise me a little bit that Mortal Kombat is the one that they went with. But I just think it's interesting because Monster Hunter also a Capcom game, I believe, right? Or no,
Yeah,
that's Bandai Namco. That's Bandai Namco, right?
isn't it Capcom? Because they put the Monster Hunter in
Yeah,
Capcom. I think
frick,
it is
dude.
Capcom.
I'm actually blanking right now, but like
I can look it up.
traditionally, PlayStation has had a really good relationship with Capcom. Like
Yeah.
they've had exclusivity deals and all that stuff. Like, and I look at that and I'm like, how did they go with that one instead of Street Fighter? Or how is Street Fighter not even included on this list? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
why isn't that title number 19? And maybe it is and I just missed it, but like,
Did they have plans on adding more games to this?
I'm sure they do. It would not
Yeah.
surprise me. I mean, if it's
Well, maybe
anything
we'll-
similar to what Microsoft's been doing, I would not be surprised if they added PlayStation 5 games to the list a year down the road. Just make this a like growing collection of games that you'll be able to play. I don't think it'll ever be a thing where you get to play games on release like Xbox, but
Right.
it would not
It
surprise
is
me
Capcom, by the way.
for Monster Hunter.
I googled it and we got some confirmation in chat.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. And oh, there was one unfortunate person in chat who owned a Wii U. All right.
I was gonna comment on that as well. Sorry.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Mario Maker, absolutely incredible, but the Wii U was a disaster of a console, and
they
even
got
Nintendo
Mario
acknowledges that.
Mario Maker on the Switch is pretty good too, man. You gotta.
Yeah. All right, so that is the end of our PlayStation 5 news segment. I mean, I think all in all, the PlayStation 5 is looking to do gangbusters this holiday season. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. I think it's going to see record-breaking sales. I believe the PlayStation 4 sold 2.1 million at launch in the first 2 weeks, I think was the number. And I would not be surprised to see them hit 2.1 million only in pre-orders, not even in first 2 week sales.
I would believe it. I feel like there's a lot more hype than I'm used to around these new consoles. I feel like I don't know if it's because I'm more involved on the social media side of things now and I'm older and I kind of see it more, I guess, but like I feel like there's just a lot of hype for these consoles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Primarily PS5.
Yeah, primarily PS5. The Xbox community isn't one that like I'm very heavily tapped into. Not a lot of my friends are Xbox gamers because I came from a Sony background. I had a PlayStation 2, I had a PlayStation 3, and a PlayStation 4. The only Xbox console I've owned was an Xbox One, and I owned that until Microsoft announced that all of the Xbox games were going to be coming to PC, at which point I sold my Xbox and bought a graphics card. So
all right.
No more need for the Xbox, you know? I don't need it. But I think that a lot of the hype for these consoles is coming from COVID life.
Yeah. I can see that.
Something where people are looking for more of an escape and more of a release from all the stress of everything else that's going on and more of a distraction from the disaster that is the entire world right now thanks to COVID. I think that is also a major driving factor in how much hype there is for these consoles because people have more time to play video games. They have more time to look at gaming news. You know, they have more time to think about, hey, do I want to pre-order this? Am I going to be able to pay my rent since I'm living on unemployment checks if I buy this console? You know, like and all these things are things that you have more time to think about because you're not living the daily grind. You're not everybody has gone back to work and is working all these hours a week. And even after they go back to work, all these thoughts are ingrained in their head. They had all this time to think about it because that's all they had time to do during COVID time.
Now it's all they're still gonna want to do.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I would agree with you. I think that has a big part to play in it. A lot of people with not a whole lot to do.
All right. So next up, we're talking about the main competitor, the Luigi to Sony's Mario, the forever second best Xbox Series X/S because there is 2 models. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh god. Okay, so the Xbox Series X/S will be released on November 10th. The X being $500 and the Series S being $300, which is what is that? It's same price as the PS5, right?
No, but $300 is $100 less, unless you're talking about the top tier version.
The top tier, yeah.
Okay, yeah. The X is the same price as the standard PlayStation 5 with the disc.
And then they dropped the price for the Series S by $100, right?
They did, because it is going to have slightly less powerful hardware.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that to think about when considering that price drop. Instead of losing a disc tray, you're actually losing performance with this now. So I feel like it kind of pickles you into wanting to buy that Series X.
A little bit. a little bit, but I think potentially Microsoft might have, because obviously, I mean, we have no idea what information these guys have before they announce prices, what kind of market like information they've gotten from their experts, that from their entire team of talking heads that they pay to go, these are what we think the prices are going to be for PlayStation's models, you know, because I'm sure Microsoft heard that PlayStation had 2 models a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they were like, we have to beat Sony on price with at least one of these, and hard, if we're going to want to like hit the casual audience. I think that the audience they're trying to tap with the Series S is the audience that Nintendo tried to tap with the Wii. I think they're going for the people that it's like, we want something that does what the other things do, but more casually, and for a much like lower price.
You think it'll end up like the Wii? You know,
No.
Almost in every house ever?
No, not for a minute. But I think
the
that
Wii was like $200, right? It even had it was cheap, man.
The Wii was absolutely incredible.
And it was great. Yeah, the Wii was wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I don't think they're hitting the same audience, but I think that's who they're going for. I think they're going for the people that are that kind of casual, or the people that are on a more strict budget but still want to be able to play these new games. And they will be able to play the new games, just not at as good of a resolution and not at as high of a frame rate. So
yeah, and
there is the trade-off.
I can see the two sides of the coin, because on one hand, it's like you're still going to be able to play these new gen games for a lower price, but at the same time, to me, it's because the specs for the Series S aren't like incredibly better than the most recent Xbox One, right?
Yeah, they're actually comparable. Yeah.
Yeah, so like
slightly better than the Series.
To me, what I'm seeing is like, if you're already gonna save up that $300, do yourself a favor, save up an extra $200 and buy that nice new console in the way that it was intended to be, you know? Play those games the way they were intended to be played.
But on the flip side, I mean, if we're talking about this is not the time to redeem song requests. I love you. I appreciate you. I will get you after the stream is over. Too many points, have to spend them. Okay, I had to talk about that because he was like in the chat redeeming song requests with channel points right now, and I was like, would hit it for you. But I mean, I can play our intro song again if you want. Yeah, you're right. All right, but looking at someone who you look at and you're like, just save an extra 200, you know?
Yeah.
Realistically, most people are going to save an extra 200 on top of the $500 in order to buy extra accessories, games, a live subscription, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, that's right.
So you got to think about it like the people who mouse mid screen. Thank you, I appreciate you. The people who are going and trying to save some money. If they save up an extra $200, they're probably looking at getting the Series S with accessories and games, as opposed to getting the Series X with no accessories and no games. The fact that they have Xbox Game Pass helps alleviate that pressure a little bit, assuming they already have the Game Pass Ultimate subscription, which we're going to talk about a little more later. Yes. But at the same time, if they want to buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla when that comes out, if they want to buy the new Call of Duty when that comes out, I mean, that's going to be an extra $70 now on top of the purchase.
I say as long as the Series S functions, it has no issues running these games that are meant for a higher quality of specs, you know. I think I would probably buy it. Why? You're saving some money.
Yeah.
But
I
agree. At the same time, like, if I was buying, and it's hard to talk about this because I just wouldn't buy an Xbox, but like, I
believe me, couldn't be me. Could not be me. Yeah.
Not be me either.
Yeah.
But I would probably save up for as much as I could. If not, then you have your fallback, you know? But I agree with you. Now that you've brought up the extra games and peripherals and stuff, that I would have to digress and say that I'd probably go with the Series S.
Now, something that's kind of raised a big question mark for a lot of people in the Xbox gaming community is Halo Infinite, which was supposed to be their biggest launch title, got their only major launch exclusive title. Okay, I mean, because nothing's exclusive to only Xbox, because most of it's coming to PC as well, or all of it's coming to PC. But their big exclusive that was not going to be on PlayStation got delayed until 2021. So effectively, your options are going to be your Game Pass library that you can play on your Xbox One X already, and whatever third-party games are coming out, and that's it. Is that a big deal?
Oh, absolutely. What is it? There's no launch games. That's like the best part about getting a console on launch is those sick ass titles that come with it. Like, what's the point if unless they drop something else? I mean, Valhalla's coming out, but that goes both ways.
Yeah,
Still
yeah, you
getting
can
my
play that on
PS5.
PS5. Yeah,
But yeah, dude, I mean, at that point, wait another year, price will probably drop, and then you have your Halo Infinite, the only confirmed launch title, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
strongly agree. I see this hurting launch sales quite a bit because
Absolutely.
it eliminates the need for a lot of Xbox One X current owners to get the new console. Unless they're enthusiasts, I could see people who don't currently have an Xbox system who want to switch to Xbox potentially getting the Series S, but I couldn't see much incentive outside of enthusiast gamers or people who just have extra money to blow, which isn't very many people right now, again, because COVID life,
Right.
Like a lot of
Yep.
people have been living on unemployment and all these things for the last like few months now. Like
Mhm.
people aren't going to have a lot of expendable extra cash to spend unless they've already saved up for this and had forethought, like,
Yeah.
and even still, there's more important things to be spending your money on right now than a console. So, with no real driving force behind saying, hey, come get our system, you look at something like that and you're like, well, now what? Well, now what am I supposed to do? I got the new console. I can play the same games that everybody else plays on PlayStation. What is the driving force behind this when you look at this? What is the big thing pushing people towards getting the Xbox Series X at launch? What reason do they have to get one?
The only thing I could really think of is just the price point. It's a little cheaper.
It is. And
That's about it.
yeah, and I think that the people who don't already have a console is probably the only people who are going to be enticed by this outside of the core Xbox fanboys. No reason.
Yeah,
Thank you. Exactly. Yeah.
no reason. No
Yep.
one wants it, exactly.
Even chat knows, And I do know quite a few people who are Xbox fans, who are loyal Xbox gamers and have loyalty to Microsoft, and because of that, they're going to get the new console. But I would urge you don't have a reason to get one at launch unless you're trying to like competitively play Call of Duty on Xbox for some reason. And even still, I think they've had the deal with PlayStation, and even still for the Call of Duty League, they're going to be using PCs with controllers. Correct? I mean, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this. If I'm wrong, follow me on Twitter and be like, hey, you're actually dumb, okay? And tweet at me. Tell me I'm dumb, all right? But I'm pretty sure that that's what's happening. Is like the people who want to get this new like flagship console, they're looking for it because of the graphical upgrades, because it's going to run better. Oh, do you want to read that in chat? I just read that. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh. Hey.
He said, F's in the chat for all the kids who are getting a no-disc console, but all physical copies.
And you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'll happen.
all the Karens and all the Kevins out there, they're gonna be at their GameStop giving these employees a terrible time because they're gonna be like, we're getting our kid a PlayStation 5 and we want games for it. He's like, well, are you getting the digital or the physical PlayStation 5? I don't know. Why would I know that? You're supposed to know that, GameStop employees. You're supposed to know what kind of console I'm getting my kid.
What does it matter?
Just get him the disc. I'm sure it'll work. We've got him the disc last year. And then they're going to get him that disc.
Yeah, dude.
And it's going to be Christmas Day. And they're going to open up their all-digital PlayStation 5. And then they're going to open up their $70 game disc for Call of Duty. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Where do I put this, Mom?
Exactly. Exactly. It's going to be disastrous. It will be disastrous.
Moral of the story, just tell him you'll buy it and bring him. I bet that kid knows more than you do.
100%. 100%. It ruins the surprise, but still, please, if you don't know, ask somebody who does. I'm clipping that one out of context. Please do. Okay, so looking at other reasons to purchase an Xbox, Microsoft is really pushing the consumer-friendly angle here, and I think that is because they know that they do not have good exclusive launch titles. They don't know where they're taking it.
They have to know. They have to.
Well, as far as exclusives go, I mean, they should have had exclusive launch titles, even if they had to just buy up third-party stuff. I don't know if third-party just went and bought up all of them or what, but they should have had something. A new game.
They've announced this like a year and a half ago,
Mhm.
2 years almost maybe, like,
Yeah.
and probably been in the works for even longer. You think they would be able to line up something that could catch
Yeah.
somebody's eye that isn't just a decent price point or whatever?
Yeah. But I think because of that, it's causing them to do some things that could really drive the industry forward from a consumer friendliness standpoint. And that's what I'm excited about that Microsoft's doing. It's not the games, which it should be, but I think that we need to see this specific kind of competition in the industry more often. A kind of competition where the consumer wins because it exists there. And having
Mhm.
exclusive games is good, but at the same time, exclusive games that cost $10 more because that's what people arbitrarily decide the MSRP is going to be nowadays, even when they're already making so much money on each sale, especially because games are moving to primarily digital sales. All of that, all of those digital sales from the storefront is money pocketed directly into Sony's pockets. They don't have to go through the middleman of retailers. So why the $10 price hike? You know?
That's a talk for another day, dude.
Exactly.
That's a I didn't find out about that actually until, maybe 2 days ago. I saw in somebody's chat, they were like, "Oh, they're gonna start charging $70 for games or something," and I
Mhm.
was like, "Whoa, are you kidding?" It never stops, dude.
Yeah, it's insane. So what Microsoft is doing, and this is one of I think the coolest things that I have seen a game company do recently, as far as doing their best to get their console in the hands of the most people in a way that is consumer friendly and not like pushy or like blatant like advertising marketing mumbo jumbo like, and that is Xbox All Access. So do you want to like talk a little bit about that? I mean, I know that you just recently learned about that when I told you about it the other day, but the like monthly program for
Oh,
purchasing a
yeah.
console? Yeah.
Okay, so where do we oh, yeah, so you pay 35 bucks a month,
Mhm.
and you get 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate, which basically that transfers over to PC, right?
Yes.
Or is
Yeah,
it
you also get Game Pass for PC included in that. Yeah.
So if you get that Xbox, not only are you getting all those games that may come with the Game Pass Ultimate, but you're also getting all of those games on PC if you play on PC. So I think that's a good value if you're PC gaming. But on the
Yeah.
flip side of that token, to me, it's like
Well, that and
if
All
I can play it on my
Access.
PC, I'm gonna get a PS4 and play those exclusives.
Yeah. And so Game Pass is included in All Access, and that's the one that the Game Pass Ultimate is what gives you the Game Pass for PC, Xbox Live Gold, and Xbox Game Pass on the console itself. But
Mhm.
All Access also is the one that gives you the console. You can pick
Oh,
one of
right.
the consoles to get. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy deal.
So this is a new thing that Xbox started last year, was Xbox All Access, and they started it with the Series X and then also the Xbox One, like just the standard Xbox One, and you get to do it for either $35 a month for the like Xbox One X, and then an upgrade to the Series X when it comes out, and then also the Xbox Series S for $25 a month, and that's included in the Game Pass and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like when you look at that and you say I can pay a monthly subscription, 0% APR, so it's not like they're getting you on, like interest rates or anything like that. It's just a straight up you pay this much a month and this is the value for what you get. And when you calculate the total costs, I mean, what's it looking like? Assuming that you were to get a Series X.
If you got a Series X, it would be what is that? E59? 76? Is
Mm-hmm.
that the price we came up with?
That would be to purchase them individually.
Oh, my bad. Oh, okay. So it would be I don't know. Which one is it? We got a lot of numbers here.
Oh, okay. So for assuming that you paid the full cost of All Access for 2 years, you'd
Oh,
be
okay,
looking
there
at
it is.
$840 for for an Xbox Series X. Total cost over 2 years would be $840, billed as $35 each month. And
Okay.
then you look at the total cost of buying them individually. I mean, you're looking at $860.
It's a little bit of saved money there.
You save $20 doing the subscription,
That's
and
right.
you don't have to
Sorry,
shell out $1,000 right away. I know it's listed here kind of confusingly, so
I
like
was
we'll work on the
completely
formatting, but
yeah, I'm new to this whole Game Pass thing or All Access thing. This is
mhm,
this is interesting to me.
yeah. But when you consider that, you know, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on its own is $15 a month, I believe, is what they're doing it for the new model. They're just doing it as like their Microsoft Live service is going to be $15 monthly, but they're not doing the yearly subscription anymore for 60. So it's only going to be billed monthly, similar to like Netflix. But looking at that alone, it'd be $15 a month. So you add an extra $20 a month on top of that, and you get the new flagship console. That's a big deal.
That is, and that kind of goes back into the consumer thing you're talking about. That's like a landmark thing right there, man. That really makes a difference for a lot
Yeah.
of people. That makes that console super affordable
Yeah.
in a lot
And
of different ways.
and again, even more so because I mean, like we've talked about earlier, these are COVID times. So not
Yeah,
everybody has the extra money to shell out. Not everybody is going to have $700 tucked away on launch day for the console and the games and PlayStation Plus and controllers, you know? Not
yeah,
everybody's going to have all that extra money. So when they don't have that extra money, they go Xbox because they can pay 35 or 25 assuming they get the Series S a month instead of having to shell out that huge chunk of cash right away.
yeah. We might see a resurgence of Xbox, maybe because of just the price point. That's an interesting take on it.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at something like this and you say, Sony, what are you doing? How do you compete?
I think they tried to compete in a way with their what was it called?
Gold collection? Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
yeah, the PS Plus
Oh,
collection.
yeah. Yeah.
I think that was their attempt at competing, but
But
they
that
they don't they don't have anything close in the way of package deals like this here, the all
mhm.
access.
Yeah.
That's new and different. I really like that. I'll give
Yeah.
Microsoft props for that one.
Exactly. And I think these are the things that I want to see in the industry moving forward. I would love to see a competition on this level of giving the consumer a better deal, even more than I would like to see these companies releasing a bunch of like hot blockbuster exclusives at launch. I think this, from a consumer standpoint, like as a consumer who's going to buy the PlayStation 5, don't get me wrong, and who loves Sony exclusive games and loves their entire library, I look at something like this and go, I wish I had something like this for PlayStation.
I agree.
You
It'd
know?
save some money. It'd be nice. I'm just looking at these numbers and I'm like, we touched on them earlier, but now that I'm really looking at it and talking about it, this is
It's
cool.
insane.
Cool
It's
thing, yeah.
insane. You get to pay a monthly fee instead of the whole cost up front. You get access to the entire Xbox Access or Xbox Game Pass library. Game Pass for PC is included in that. You get your Xbox Live Gold. You get your games with gold every month, and you get the console, and it's $35 a month. I mean, that's less than you pay for your phone. You know?
Oh, Microsoft, dude.
I mean, it's a great deal, and that's what they're pushing. And I think that the consumer-friendly stuff, is what they're going to use to drive sales. I think this is the angle that they're going to push, and especially with someone as charismatic as Phil Spencer leading the team. I mean, the dude screams, "Look at me and freaking love me because I'm awesome." Like that is his persona, you know?
Yes.
Like every time I watch a Microsoft press conference and he comes out on stage, people eat that guy up. They love him.
You're locked in. You're locked in.
Exactly. He commands attention, and yet at the same time, he says, this is a relaxed environment. I'm here because I love games, and I love the Xbox family, and I'm here for you. And he
So
manages to do both so well.
Yeah, man. With him at the front, this breezy price point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could really see an actual competitor more so than we thought at the beginning initially, or at least I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was a stomp by PS5, but this has me changing my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
I
it'll
think,
still be in favor of PS5, but I think Xbox stands a chance with something like this.
yeah. And I saw a couple of points in the chat that we are going to touch on as we continue forward. So we will get to your questions. Believe me, we're on the way. But we're going to talk about the specs here real quick, and I'm just going to rattle these off real fast. So what's up? Go ahead.
Mind if I use the restroom really quick?
You're good. You're good. I'll handle this one while you go use the restroom. Yeah, I got you. All right, guys. So we're talking about the specs here on the Series X specifically is what we're looking at. So the Series X has a custom AMD Zen 2 8-core 3.8 gigahertz processor. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for the CPU, and that is 0.3 gigahertz faster than the PlayStation 5 processor. So like a slight upgrade there. The Series S, however, has a 3.6 gigahertz 8-core processor. So hold up, am I reading this wrong? No, that's right. That's right. Okay. Hold up, let me go back and compare real quick, just to be sure. Okay, yeah. So it is 3.6 gigahertz. So both pretty solid processors. Almost the same processor in both. I had to double check against my PlayStation numbers just to be sure. But almost the same processor. However, the GPU for the Xbox Series X, you've got a 12.15 teraflop GPU at 52 compute units at 1.825 gigahertz, and then the Series S has a 4 teraflop 20 compute units at 1.565 gigahertz. So the major slowdown between these two is the GPU. That's what you're looking at. As far as RAM, there's also quite a bit of fall off here. The Xbox Series X has 16 gigabytes of GDDR6, and then the Series S only has 10. So that is quite a bit less RAM. And interesting that they chose to go with 10 instead of 8. I'm not sure why they did that. It's probably some custom thing that they're doing. I can't remember ever a time I saw a PC that had 10 gigabytes of RAM or even a laptop. As far as storage goes, this is honestly the biggest hitter for me, is the storage space. So your Xbox Series X has a 1 terabyte SSD, and then the Series S has a 512 gigabyte SSD. So your Xbox Series X has a little bit more space over PlayStation, because the PlayStation SSD, like we talked about, was only 825 gigabytes, which might not seem like a big deal, but like, these games are getting big. Anybody who's ever had to update Call of Duty knows these games are getting big. Modern Warfare is massive. It takes up a ton of space. So that 825 gigabytes that PlayStation has, that's going to fill up quick. And then the Series S only having, welcome back, the Series S only having a 512 gigabyte SSD. I mean, that's some big fall off. That's a lot of fall off there. You know, that is not going to be a lot of space. You download Call of Duty Modern Warfare on a 500 gigabyte hard drive. What else can you download?
Nathan.
Exactly. It's crazy.
I don't think I'm muted.
You're not muted. You're good. I can hear you. You're okay. So your Xbox Series X, we're looking at external storage options now, which the PlayStation 5, I don't know if we touched on this, had M2 slots for the storage. To add additional storage. It did. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
The Xbox just announced their external storage options this week, and I believe it's going to be $215 for a 1 terabyte expansion slot. So if someone in the chat could correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I'm 90% sure that was the numbers. So they have announced their official like expansion slots for the Xbox One, and $215 is expensive, but it is an SSD still.
They dropped that price like
Did they?
That was recent, right?
Yeah.
That was like within the last couple days, wasn't it?
Yes. The announcement came recently. If they dropped the price on it, that's news to me. But
I meant to bring that up to you actually, because I saw that, and I saw that getting some heat on Twitter.
Yeah, that is really expensive for a drive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
I have a 1 terabyte SSD in my computer that I paid $125 for. And if you're running a hard disk drive, like Sniper said in chat, I mean, he paid 4 terabytes for an external, which I'm sure was only a hard disk, but still, that's a lot of space for $125. And to put that in perspective, you get a fourth of that space at a higher speed for double the price, essentially.
And that Xbox SSD, that's proprietary, isn't it? It only works for the Xbox, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah, whereas the M2 you can use in whatever. You might have to get like official ones that Sony approves. Like, I'm not sure if every third-party M2 will work. Still kind of iffy on that, but like the main ones should still be fine.
Yeah. I don't see, they catch me on their nice price points, and then they go and ruin it with something like that for me. Like, that's, I don't know.
Yeah, Jimmy in chat gave a shout out and said M2 is going to be 25 times faster than your standard HDD hard disk drive. So
yeah, I mean, and it's faster than SD solid state drive too. So
yeah,
I would rather have that M2 in my PS5 than.
But again, this is the proprietary custom Xbox SSD, so we don't know all of the advantages yet, if there will be any. But we know it's going to be really expensive. Yeah, as the case may be, which we hope not. But you know, it's going to be one of those wait and see type of things. They're going to come out with marketing mumbo jumbo to do their best to sell it like it's a good deal, but realistically, I don't see many people wanting to upgrade that storage space unless they're enthusiast gamers like we talked about, who are going to be the main ones purchasing the console at launch anyways. So I don't expect it to be something that's going to go over well until they drop the price on it eventually. I don't see a way where they don't eventually drop the price on that drive. It's too expensive.
I agree.
Nobody wants to pay $215 for 1 terabyte.
It got some major backlash too. Like on Twitter, it was nuts.
Okay, realistically, Oil Prince Taylor just dropped 5 subs in the chat. So huge pog. Thank you, Taylor.
Love. Thank you.
You're absolutely amazing, and I love you, buddy. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you, brother. Gotta mention that. Gotta shout him out.
Cool.
You are the absolute best.
Let's get some
and then-
pogs.
Yeah, PogChamp in the chat.
Pog champs, please.
Heart to you, my dude. You're amazing. So, looking at the output resolution, we've got the Series X is going to be 4K at 60 FPS, and I'm assuming that if you run that at a lower resolution, that you'll be able to hit 120 FPS. I think they've confirmed that already. That you will be able to do 120 FPS in more competitive shooter style games. And then the Xbox Series S, which is the smaller one, is going to be 1440p, so slightly lower resolution, but still solid. That's what a lot of people on PC game at, is 1440p at 60 FPS. So
It's not too bad.
yeah, there's some options there. It's still going to run decently.
Yeah,
it's still going to
definitely.
look more crisp than your standard Xbox One, but your 4K output isn't going to be there. So for
I
people
would
with
hope
4K
so.
TVs, that's a slight fall off compared
Yeah.
to the Xbox One X. So, and then again, your more expensive one has the disc drive, and then the $300 version does not.
Okay.
It's only got the
This- Series S has
hard
a
drive.
disc drive too, right?
Does it?
Am I mistaken?
I thought it was digital only. Hold up.
100%.
It's time to Google. It's time to
Yeah,
consult
it is time to Google.
the knowledge bank. Xbox Series S, or if you guys know.
Maybe
Disk
not.
drive? Nope.
Oh yeah, no, I think it does. Got an image here I can send you.
Wait. The console is all digital, meaning there's no disk drive. I mean, I'm just looking at like
no.
this is from Tech Radar. It's coming up saying that there's not one.
Dude, this thing looks like a waffle maker.
Okay, guys, chat.
Hey,
I love you. You're amazing. You may have to calm down. You're amazing. Seriously,
for the
I
5
appreciate you.
gifted.
Even more 5 gifted subs. Can't let Dad beat you out here. We've got an Oil Prince competition in the chat popping off right now, and you love to see it.
Got
But
some more pog champs, chat. Get them in there.
huge pog, massive pog. Let's go, guys. Let's go. We're out here making it rain today.
Thank you.
First
Appreciate you guys.
episode of the podcast popping off. I appreciate
Yeah,
every single one of you guys being here too.
Yeah, thank you for being here to support the first episode. Means a lot to us.
So the last thing that I want to touch on for Xbox, and this is arguably the biggest piece of gaming news that has come out in my lifetime, I would say. Okay?
Mhm. Okay.
Xbox, Microsoft bought ZeniMax Studios. Microsoft owns Bethesda.
Oof. Kind of pog.
Huge
Kinda
pog.
pog.
Huge
Huge
pog for
pog, yeah.
Microsoft. For Microsoft. Like negative pog for PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. When I heard about this, my first thoughts were like, "Oh no." But then I thought about it more and I was like, "Oh yes." But then I thought about it again, and as a PlayStation 5 player, I really hope they don't take it in like the exclusive direction. You know what I mean? Like
There's no way they don't.
Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive on Xbox. Granted,
There's
we might
no
get it
way.
on the PC, but dude, like,
Oh.
wow, that would be huge if they just pure Xbox only that stuff.
Okay, we're getting it on PC. That's a given. Microsoft has already announced all their exclusives are coming to PC. That's gonna happen. But there's no way that they don't make it at least timed exclusive.
Oh,
You know what I mean? At least.
yeah, like
that's
give
the
it a year
starting
and then
point.
drop it. Yeah.
That's the starting point. That's if they ever release it on Sony consoles. So you're talking any new Fallout game that comes out. Now that Obsidian is also under Microsoft and Microsoft owns Bethesda, that means Obsidian, who made Fallout New Vegas, I believe, will be able to make another new Fallout game. Fallout New Vegas, widely regarded as the best Fallout entry in the series.
That's a toughie for me because there's so many games that I love, so many series that are owned by Bethesda, and
Rattle some
now-
off. What are we
dude,
losing?
I love Dishonored,
Yes.
Scott, the Elder Scrolls series. You know,
Mhm.
you just said Fallout. We have Fallout. What was that other one? They just, God, but those are my main three right there. As far as Bethesda goes.
And those 3 are the biggest ones.
Oh,
you lose
man.
Dishonor, Elder Scrolls, and Fallout. And that includes
Dishonored-
Elder Scrolls Online, which is now a Microsoft game.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I don't think it's going to be a thing where we see any exclusivity of expansions, because that is a game that's still currently on PlayStation. But I mean, that's all Microsoft money now. That's all profit, you know? Like
Yeah, man.
Microsoft is rolling in it currently with this acquisition, and this is huge. And
Call that the Microsoft money.
yeah, and you look at it, and they're releasing statements from some of their PR heads on Twitter saying things like, "We're not done yet."
Oh no.
Who else is left that's that big? This is legitimately, potentially, the biggest piece of gaming news I have heard in my lifetime, that Microsoft bought Bethesda. They bought ZeniMax. You know?
Yeah, dude. They're gonna pick up every game studio that isn't owned or partnered with Sony and just make it theirs so that they can have that edge.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but when I ask people who aren't like gamers, you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
that don't game on a regular basis, what games have you played? I get three answers. I get FIFA, I get Call of Duty, and I get Skyrim.
Yep. I would definitely throw Skyrim into that mix.
Everybody knows Skyrim. There was a joke about it being on Amazon Alexa that actually became a thing, and it was pretty cool.
Well, they've been, think about it. That game came out, I believe, 11/11/11. I'll remember that for obvious reasons. But since then, it's pretty much come out on every console that you could think of. Like it's carried on for so long, and that Elder Scrolls alone, I think, is just a huge win.
Absolutely, it's massive.
Along with all the other Bethesda games, dude.
Yeah,
a lot. That is huge.
Starfield, the new sci-fi game that Bethesda's working. I think that's what it's called. Let's say chat knows this
Outer
one.
Worlds?
No. That was Obsidian's game, and that was actually under Microsoft.
I heard Starfield. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, Starfield. I just googled it. That is a new sci-fi game in the same vein as Elder Scrolls or Fallout, coming from Bethesda, except it's going to be sci-fi. So you think take Skyrim, take Fallout 4, add Mass Effect.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what you're getting, essentially. It is a first-person narrative-driven game in sci-fi set in space, and that might be Xbox exclusive.
Did you Google Starfield?
I did. Is that wrong?
Do you see? No.
Oh, no. Is that?
There's just that picture of Todd Howard's face on the right hand side.
hold up. I'm gonna pull this up.
Anymore?
I think he does. Oh, how do I make this big? Whatever. I can show the Google image search real quick. That's not a big deal. Todd Howard and the Galaxy. Perfect.
Love Todd Howard.
For our live viewers. There you go. Perfect. Absolutely incredible. But
dude, speaking of freaking people who take the front of their company, man, that guy, he's got some charisma too. He's on the par with.
Yeah. You have to release a game like Fallout 76 and still have fans. You have to have an extraordinary amount of charisma. Honestly,
a little off topic, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's a great picture. Let's be honest. But so Bethesda currently has 2 exclusives, timed exclusives, I believe, but they might be official exclusives coming out for PlayStation, and that's Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, I believe is the name of the other one. And Deathloop is from the people who made Dishonored. That's Arcane Studios' game.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. This looks super cool.
Yeah, and essentially you're in this time loop that repeats, and you have to kill a certain number of targets before the time loop ends, and you get killed by another person who's hunting you. Like you're an assassin killing 8 targets, being hunted by another assassin at the same time.
Yeah,
and getting killed resets your loop.
It's online multiplayer, isn't it?
I don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure they added a multiplayer mode where like
even better.
You have exactly. That's what caught me was the whole you get to be an assassin and you're going after these people with these abilities. I think that's super sick. I haven't seen something like that since like Assassin's Creed Online.
Oh gosh, the throwback.
Which was kind of cool, you know. It's a cool concept, but this could be a really good game.
Assassin's Creed Online that was kind of terrible, but also very unique and fun.
Yeah, it's like hide and seek, but you're killing people. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a dog that's like so ugly that it's almost cute. It's like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
It was charming.
Yeah, it worked. It worked in the environment that it was in, and Microsoft has come out and said that they will honor those exclusivity deals because they were already in place before the acquisition. So those games are still coming to PlayStation. But I think I think that gives even more reason for Microsoft to be like, hey, suck it, Sony. We got Bethesda, and all these games are going to be ours now. That's our money now, you know, and that's our hype for our console. Could you imagine the fallout in the gaming community if
Fallout
Okay, let's use even Fallout. I was gonna go the next Elder Scrolls game, but let's go Fallout. If Fallout
Okay.
4 had been delayed, Microsoft bought Bethesda, and Fallout 4 was a launch title for Xbox Series X. I
Okay.
mean, there would have been mobs in the streets.
Yeah, that would have been pretty nuts.
It would have been crazy, you know? And that's what we're looking at going forward. The next Elder Scrolls game may very well be exclusive to Microsoft consoles and PC.
Please, no. Well,
And
I have a PC, so
but again,
whatever there, but
this
God.
isn't happening for another 2 years or whatever, whenever those games come out.
Yeah.
We know Bethesda takes a while to develop their games, you know? So what reason does it give people to buy a Microsoft console right now? None. But you got to think about the implications in the future.
Definitely.
It's
And,
going
I
big
mean,
places.
that console will be around at least for another 2 years, so we'll see that with this generation.
Yeah. And that was a shout out to something Jimmy said in chat. Just Microsoft net worth gives them the ability to beat out PlayStation. And I think that the Microsoft money as far as Xbox goes is something that we haven't seen in the past on this scale. I think the last few generations that Microsoft money hasn't been there and they haven't done enough with it to be like, okay, I agree with that statement. But now seeing Microsoft go out there and be like, yeah, we're just going to casually buy ZeniMax for, 7.5 billion.
Casually. It was
Yeah.
like there it was such a shadow buy, man. There was no, as far as I know, I didn't hear anything like building up to that purchase. It just kind of was like, bam, this happened. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Exactly.
But moving on here, I took a look at that Ghostwire Tokyo game
Hmm.
because I hadn't heard of that, and
Yeah.
this looks insane. I don't really understand what's going on here, but this game looks really nice.
I mean, almost on the level of like Hideo Kojima level of
Yeah.
crazy in the game, like that almost like what is actually happening right now. This story is
I
confusing and convoluted, but deep
I don't
and interesting.
understand this trailer at all, but the game looks really nice.
So one of the questions in chat also, what happens when the networks go down for digital downloads that are based on the Game Pass? So the thing is, like,
Good one.
what happens when internet goes down for anybody? You can't play what you're trying to play. That's true for PC as well. You know, so many games nowadays are online only and have DRM and everything else on them that, like, for most people now, I think we've been so conditioned to just accept that that's the way that it is, even though it's honestly kind of dumb that our single player games require an online connection sometimes, that
Yeah.
that's just the reality of the situation. And it does suck, for the people who don't have the disc drive in their games, but they just won't be able to play some stuff.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't really a good answer, and there should be. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Microsoft push forward in that area too, because again, their whole initiative has been, we can't beat Sony on exclusives, or they couldn't until the Bethesda buyout, but we can be consumer friendly.
Mhm.
And I think that's what they're trying to do. And I look at Sony and I'm like, I see people asking pretty regularly on Twitter, on Reddit, Discord chats, all that stuff. What does Sony do to come back from this? How does Sony respond? When you get asked that question, what is your thoughts? What does Sony do when Microsoft goes out and says, we bought Bethesda? What is their answer?
I think there's two answers.
Okay.
One of them for me would be retaliate and maybe buy your own studio, something that could keep up with Bethesda, God knows what, but
Okay.
or Sony's already got their killer lineup of exclusives. Drop some more of those babies.
Exactly. And I completely agree. I mean, like Matt Hatter said in the chat, why do they need to respond?
Or that, yeah, exactly. They have their own thing going.
It's
That I think it was Microsoft's response to buy ZeniMax rather than like PlayStation doesn't need to. They're just trying to even themselves out,
Yeah. Arguably, Microsoft spent the last year of the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation on defense. They spent the entire generation of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on defense. And I think that after years of getting punched and kicked while they're down by PlayStation, they came out at the start of this generation and said, we are retaliating. And that was Microsoft's answer. I don't think Sony needs to respond here.
I don't know either. I agree. It's far more interesting to me from a PC standpoint. Like I like seeing these consoles fight each other and see who comes up with what to be the next big console for this generation. Like it's really interesting to see all these new marketing and you know, exclusive strategies coming out. It's cool.
It's like that meme where it's like the two
With
people
the
like
monkeys.
yeah, from the Simpsons, the two monkeys
Yeah.
fighting on the ground, and it's like Sony and Microsoft, and in the background it's like Nintendo and PC just standing behind, like cheering them
Whoa.
on, like yeah, go for it, guys,
It
you
really is
guys
like
fight.
that. Yeah, it's like that. It's cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. So as a PC gamer, we're largely like not affected by most of this. You know, the
Yeah.
Sony acquisitions are probably going to be the ones that hit us the most, but even games like Godfall that are only coming to PlayStation 4 at launch are also launching on PC on the same day. So that was a Sony timed exclusive for PlayStation. I'm not sure if that's coming to Xbox later or not. I don't have the information on that, but I know that at least at launch it won't be on the Xbox Series X. So
That's
the only studio, and this is an opinion that I've heard like mentioned on Reddit, on discussion boards, on all that stuff. So I'm not taking credit for this like I'm some marketing genius or anything like that. But this is also regarded as one that like it's not going to happen. Rockstar.
Oh, that would be the competitor, I think. Really,
Yeah.
that
But
would be it.
the thing holding me back there is Rockstar is under 2K games.
Dude, I
So
hope Rockstar wouldn't even consider that. I would like them to just be standalone, honestly.
it wouldn't be up to Rockstar, it'd be up to 2K games. Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
how Microsoft
Oh, but-
bought ZeniMax.
Right.
They didn't only buy Bethesda, they also got Arcane Studios who made Dishonored. They also got id Software who does Doom. You know, like they got all the studios under ZeniMax. They didn't just get Bethesda. They got all of it. So if Sony's looking to punch back, they go 2K games, which means they get the sports games. They get Borderlands. They get Grand Theft Auto. And similarly,
Imagine, holy smokes.
yeah,
That's the console war, dude. Claiming
Yeah.
sports games. Like
Yeah.
that alone is pretty huge.
Sony's had MLB for years.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, they're not above buying out the sports games, and that has sold consoles to the baseball fans. Like people, it's one that kind of flies under the radar, but baseball fans are diehard fans. They're like one step short of NASCAR fans, like with their dedication to their craft. Like they
Yeah.
love it, they live
Right.
for it. You know,
I can
they are
vouch for that.
crazy. You know, and that has sold consoles on its own. So if Sony goes and says 2K, PlayStation is Sony's most profitable division. Okay? More than any other division in Sony, it's PlayStation.
Okay.
That is where they have all their eggs in that basket. Their TVs, cool. Their phones, cool. PlayStation sells and people love it and they eat it up. Does Sony have the money to buy 2K, and would they? And would 2K even be open to it the way that Bethesda was? Because we know that 2K is not above scummy practices and microtransactions and releasing the same game across 3 generations because Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to PlayStation at launch. And it's like, you know that they're there for the money. If the price is high enough, do they say yes?
I think if the price is high enough, anybody would say yes. But does
They
Sony
would.
have that price?
I think they do.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we would just have to see what would happen there. I think they would do it, honestly.
I think they would.
Yeah.
And even less than that, it would surprise me even less to see Microsoft, who's been tweeting out, like we've said, their marketing reps, their people have been mentioning, hey, there's more acquisitions coming. It would surprise me even less to see Microsoft go to 2K, Take Two, that's who it is, and be like, here's our price, will you do it? And they say no, and Microsoft goes, here's a higher price, you will do it. And they say, yes, we will.
You're right. We will do that.
And then Microsoft catches all of those exclusive games. And they're still coming to PC, which most people game on Windows anyways. So either way, Microsoft's winning.
We're still cheering in the background,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, let the console boys fight. Let them have at it.
let's
That's
do it.
fine, you know? But that is assuming that something on that scale happens, which I think that would be potentially the only thing bigger than the Bethesda acquisition would be acquiring Take-Two Studios and all the games under that.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I look at that and I'm like, that would probably be a kill shot effectively if that's something that they did. Because Grand Theft Auto alone
yeah,
I mean,
it's flagship.
that is a game that has been big since it came out and stayed big.
It's to this day.
They haven't released a new Grand Theft Auto since Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 3. That was a
Rockstar.
PlayStation 3 title, and it's still one of the most popular titles on Twitch, on sales, on DLC sales, like not DLC, sorry, microtransaction sales, like the playtime that it gets every month. I mean, look at Steam charts. It's insane how many people are still playing this PS3 game from years ago. And that's one game.
Please give us a new GTA, Rockstar, please.
If
We're
only,
ready
dude.
for Grand Theft Auto 6.
If only.
promise.
They don't care
We'll
about
put
your
money
feelings.
into that one too. We'll put money into it, I swear.
GTA has made over $6 billion.
Good for them, dude.
So let's talk about a
suckers.
price tag on a Take-Two acquisition. If GTA 5 alone has made $6 billion, even as long as it's been out. So that's you got to think it wasn't the 7.5 billion immediate purchase that Microsoft did of ZeniMax. So it wasn't immediate. It was $6 billion since it came out. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2011, 2012? No, it might have been 13.
I think it was 12.
I'm googling it. I'm googling it right now. 2013? Yeah, because it was the same year as The Last of Us, right?
I don't even remember, man. It was 2013, September 17th. Almost a year, or
Yeah, it was the same year as
7
The
years.
Last of Us. Okay. Yeah, so
7 years, Vince.
$6 billion. So you got to think, what is the price point that either company looks at and goes, this would be enough to get us Take-Two? I mean, does it go north of 20 billion? I think it does. Sports games included?
With all of those titles, yeah. The
Borderlands
sports
included?
games, I think the sports games are a bit slept on. Like you said, when you ask people who aren't everyday gamers what they're playing, it's either sports game, Fallout, and Skyrim, right? Is that what you said? But those sports games, those are some heavy hitters, man.
Yeah.
I think if you're not like in the market for those sports games, you don't notice it as much. But those people that like their sports games, they
Yep.
buy them every year.
Yep.
Every single year.
I mean,
And more than one, you got FIFA, 2K, MLB, all of them, man. Depends on how much of a fanatic you are, I guess. You can buy the same game every year. Yes, exactly.
it's crazy to think about, but that's the world that we live in,
Mm.
in a world where we are looking at a realistic scenario where we could see studios on that scale getting picked up, because it just happened with ZeniMax, and Microsoft kind of set the precedence for that, and they have the money to do it, and Sony could retaliate if they wanted to. I'm pretty sure Sony has the money, but that's a massive investment, and I think that Sony, where they're at right now, I think they're looking at it and saying, let's look and see how much damage this does to us first. Let's see if we take that big of a hit on sales. Let's see if it matters that significantly to our profits, and if it does, then we retaliate. But if that's how they play it, it might be too late by the time they're ready.
I don't think it'll be too bad for them. In all honesty,
I don't
think
either.
they've established this presence of just being the console that drops those banger exclusives, man. Like everybody knows it. Sony's got that. They got those games on lock, and I don't think they'll make that type of move unless they need to, because right now they don't need to.
Yeah, it really
At least
seems
the way
like,
I see it.
It really seems like they're trying to play the mature Nintendo card at this point.
Yeah.
We have games for a more mature audience, a very dedicated gaming audience, versus Nintendo, which is more like the family friendly side of things. And you look at that and you're like, why does Sony need to compete? Nintendo hasn't felt the need to compete. They haven't had a graphically competitive console ever, arguably, like since the Nintendo 64 days.
But
that was the last time graphically they competed.
Yeah.
And the Switch is selling millions. It's popular during COVID hours.
That's right.
You're telling me I can lay in my bed like I've been doing, but play Mario on a tiny screen?
I'll take it.
Perfect. I can play Smash Brothers on the terrible internet connection that Smash Brothers Online has? Perfect. Perfect.
Animal Crossing? Zelda?
Exactly.
All games that have been... Yeah, dude. I see exactly what you're talking about. They don't need to.
So Jimmy Pogchat in the chat said, in 2008, EA tried to buy Take-Two for $2 billion, and Take-Two said EA was trying to take advantage of them, which doesn't surprise me because, EA has been voted worst company for how many years in a row? I think they lost. I don't think they won it last year, but it was a stretch of like 4 years in a row. EA got
who won
worst
it
company.
last year?
Hold on, let me look and see. 2019 worst company. America's top 20 most hated companies. I have to scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's so many ads because it's just a random news site. Credit where credit's due. This is USA Today, by the way. Equifax won.
Equifax,
because all the data breaches. They were most hated.
Out of here.
So
worst gaming company ever.
Yeah. So you absolutely love to see it. Jimmy PogChamp, thank you for the subscription, man. I appreciate you. It's great to have you here. I hope all you guys here are enjoying the podcast content. We're really enjoying doing it. So thank you to everybody who showed up and for the sub. You're amazing. But Take-Two currently worth $18 billion. So the price point has to be higher than that. So it definitely goes north of $20 billion.
Don't do it, and that's a lot of money, man.
It's a ton of money.
How much is Sony worth? That's the follow up here.
I'm looking to see how much video games made in 2019.
Okay.
US alone, video game content generated $35.4 billion in revenue in US alone. Sony is massive worldwide, a lot bigger than Microsoft worldwide. Microsoft does have a presence in the UK. Sony's worth between 45 and 70 billion. Man. So they might have the money to do it, but I think that they would have to come with an offer close to between 25 and 30 billion to even get Take-Two to look at it with a net worth of 18. And they would have to make that purchase under the assumption that they would pay that off in the future with all of the revenue that they would get from those games.
After Googling Sony's revenue, I see their net worth's 45 billion. Its sales are worth about 70 billion, similar to what Jimmy said in chat. So that's almost about that's close to half of their net worth.
But think of what they would stand to gain. If you're taking the low end, yes.
Yeah.
But the gains from buying someone like Take-Two in response to Microsoft's acquisition of ZeniMax, I think that would be what it takes to either, if Microsoft buys them out, deal a knockout blow potentially, or at least something that will be like, this is clearly a console seller. If the Bethesda ZeniMax acquisition was not enough to do it already, this would be the nail in the coffin on any question of whether or not Microsoft has what it takes to continue releasing consoles, and whether or not they have a place on the console gaming scene. Because at the launch of the Xbox One, there were a lot of questions of, is Microsoft out of touch with what the gaming community wants? Because they were like, bundle with Kinect, it's going to be digital only. This is our vision. This is what it has to be. It's going to be only an entertainment box. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that. That was a while ago now, but that was how they were pushing it. And the whole gaming community went, who is your audience? Who is this for? The Kinect? You literally, yeah, that was, yes. Oh, yes, beautiful. Everybody loves the Kinect. And
Xbox off.
Yes, walking into your friend's living room and shutting off their Xbox with your voice. And you look at that and you're like, I think that the acquisition of ZeniMax and Bethesda was enough to silence the critics of Microsoft does not know what the core gaming community wants already. And I think that would absolutely put to rest, another acquisition on that scale would absolutely put to rest any doubts that anyone has about whether or not Microsoft is intending on staying in the console space. Because when they announced their exclusives were coming to PC, people were like, oh, what's the point of Xbox? Well, here it is.
Now you have it, yeah.
Yeah, it is all the people who've owned Xbox.
They staked their claim a little bit, for sure. That's exactly what it is. They're establishing themselves against this, because like you said, Sony kicked their butts. This whole PS4 over Xbox One. I don't care what you say, man. The PS4 was dominating, in my opinion. As far as titles go.
Yeah,
I'm not too keen on the specs or whatever, but yeah, man, they needed something to get their edge back, and I think they could possibly find it with this deal.
Absolutely. I think that this is the response that Microsoft needed to all of the people that were asking questions when Halo Infinite got delayed. And it still doesn't solve the problem of, should I buy an Xbox at launch right now? Because the answer is you probably shouldn't. You'll be able to get one cheaper. They'll have more availability. You won't have to fight the crowds. Realistically, there is not much reason to get a Series X at launch at all right now. Not that I can see, unless you're really itching to play the newest multi-platform party titles like in a higher graphics resolution. But even still, outside of loyalty to Microsoft, buy a PlayStation. Because you get all those third-party titles, and then on top of that, you get the Sony library, that has been proven, and all of those games from PlayStation 4 that you may have missed out on if you were previously a Microsoft Camp supporter. You get to play all of the biggest titles that were exclusive thanks to the PlayStation Plus collection.
Agreed. And to add on, if you're a PC user, you're already getting all that Microsoft stuff anyways. So if you're still in the market for a console, pick up the PS5 and you still have all those games on your PC.
Absolutely. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you love to see. Get the best of both worlds, Exactly. Odds are if you have the money to build a PC, you probably have the money to pick up a console as well.
Why choose a scoop of vanilla or a scoop of chocolate when you can have both scoops at once?
Yep.
Have a chocolate vanilla sundae, Never just pick one.
So realistically, at this point, I mean, I think we're kind of both decided here. Which one do you pick?
PS5. I'm going PS5.
Okay. Okay. I personally don't know anyone who has chosen Xbox at this point. And it may be because I haven't just asked all the people that I know randomly, but I have not heard anybody be like, it's Xbox for me this generation. Let me tell you why. Nobody's excited to tell me about it. I think that tells me everything I need to know.
Vince, I think this is a good time for a poll.
Oh, hold up. I have it bookmarked. Bookmarks.
Then we can get the chat's opinion. We're going to pull up a poll, chat. We have...
All right.
Type 1 for PS5, and you type 2 for Xbox. Option 3 can be, I have a PC, I don't care, or something.
Yeah. PS5. Xbox. Not yet. Wait a
second.
We're still putting the poll up. Xbox
once the
Series
poll's
X.
on the screen, you can submit it.
And
or spam ones. Screw it.
PC, MR, don't care.
Too late. Keep going. Keep typing once.
All right. Go ahead and get this kicking. All right, it popped up on the screen there so you guys can see it. So, 1 for PS5, 2 for Xbox Series X, 3 for PC Master Race. Who cares? Not my problem. Not my fight.
We'll be the
150
people in the background. We'll watch the monkeys fight.
Exactly. Let them have at it. Simpsons meme for days.
That's right. I'm gonna find
only one if you want it to be counted.
I'm gonna find that meme so you can put it up.
Oh, if you've already voted, it doesn't let you vote again, unfortunately.
Unique votes, baby.
All right, I think we've got all the votes that we're gonna get here, and I mean this is a pretty closed environment test here,
Yeah.
But just so you guys can, somebody changed it at the last second. Okay, Erica, I think you just felt bad for the loser there. But looking at this, I want both PC and PlayStation. Well, and this was choosing between the consoles. You already own a PC. PC don't care means you're not intending to buy either console. So, from the poll that we've seen, which it doesn't surprise me that PC is the answer because a lot of my audience is PC gamers. I know, like my family and friends are in here. We play PC, so it doesn't surprise me. Second was PS5, which I'm going to count David's vote in there because he changed his back and forth between PC and PS5 because he wants both. So we're going to say
too. I'm gonna.
And Joker. Joker didn't vote.
Yeah, I care a little bit. I'm probably gonna buy one. Maybe not soon, but
yeah. So effectively at this point, we've got 5 votes PC. Who cares? 5 votes PS5, and we've got 1 vote, which was Erica, who felt bad for the Xbox Series X and decided to vote for that one because it had 0 votes. And I only know she did that because she's my wife, and so I know her well enough to know, like, oh man, feel bad for the little guy, vote for that one. But we're not getting an Xbox. She lives in my house.
Might not be the little guy for much longer. We'll have to see.
Yeah. After the acquisition,
feel too bad for him. Yeah.
And we'll see where they stop. But I mean, looking at that, and I mean, even Taylor said in the chat, I'd choose PS5 over Xbox if PC didn't exist, and I think that's a common sentiment among PC gamers. You go where the games you want to play are. And
I can say that's definitely what I did when I bought my PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I saw games I liked on there. I went that way. If I would have seen more games I liked on Xbox, I probably would have bought an Xbox, regardless of its specs or anything. I'm simple-minded like that. I'm forehead. I go right for the stuff I like.
Yeah, no kidding. McWalls 4 420 in the chat said, I have a friend who said he pre-ordered a PS5 in England. And that's something that we didn't touch on, but if your friend pre-ordered a PS5, congrats to him, because I haven't been able to find anywhere that has them in stock. Anywhere. Have you heard of anywhere that has them in stock right now?
I haven't even looked, dude.
I heard GameStop had stock yesterday, and they got 5 to 10 at each store. 5 to 10.
What if it's like some super limited thing? There's like 200 people in your county that have PS5s.
People are already selling pre-orders on eBay.
They
Already.
need to mass produce those things ASAP. It'll be like the Switch. You know how the Switch was when COVID first started, you were either not finding them at all or you were finding them on eBay for like $700. Like I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. So, chat, everybody, the gang, those of you who've been hanging out, do you guys have any more questions for us as we are nearing the end of our show? We're entering into our closing segments here. Any more comments, anything that you want us to discuss real quick? Anything that maybe we haven't brought up about the PS5 versus Xbox debate that you may want us to like chat about, examine real quick? I wish I could get a 3080. We will be talking about the new graphics cards in an episode that's coming up. We're considering doing that next week. Since you had the question, what's the next episode going to be? We were actually going to include the new graphics cards in this episode, but this is already running way longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you. We've had some great discussion. So we made the decision to move graphics card discussion to next week. So hopefully you guys are going to be looking forward to that.
Mad Hatter says, I see it as if I want exclusives, I go to PlayStation. Storylines are better, single player games are better. Why pay for an Xbox when you own a PC? It's a good point.
I see no reason.
I agree. I side with that sentiment.
The only reason that I see to own an Xbox when you have a PC is potentially not being able to play some multiplayer games with your friends is one, because going with what your friends are getting, mouse in the middle of the screen again, I always do that. Going with what your friends are getting is a pretty big point. You know, if your friends are playing there, that's a big driving force in you playing there. I mean,
there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, man.
Yeah,
like 100%. It's not. It's the games on it, your friends, because absolutely the friends thing is huge. That's always been my thing.
If you own a PC specifically, so you can already play those games that are on it, you know?
Right,
like specifically for if you already own a PC, why buy an Xbox? It's to play with your friends, and then also because of the Play Anywhere, assuming you wanted to kick back on the couch downstairs and play the same game and pick up right from where you left off with the Xbox Play Anywhere initiative, you can take your cloud save, load it up on your Xbox, and pick right up where you left off from your PC, assuming you want to sit on the couch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that would be the only other reason. And
or sit in a nice comfy chair at your PC.
Yeah, right.
Then you don't have that problem.
Oil Prince Taylor TJ in the chat on his $1,500 Herman Miller that we know he has.
Jeez, dude.
Also, McWalls, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, welcome in. Jimmy, he has an interesting one. If Joker and Vince were fighting in hand-to-hand combat, who would win? I can answer that. I would probably, I don't know Vince's height or weight, but
I'm 6 foot and 3/4 of an inch, and I weigh 205 pounds.
Okay, yeah, he would body slam me. I'm 5'10" and like 130.
Fun fact, I took 4 years of self-defense classes. It was mixed martial arts. They let me do that instead of my PE classes in high school.
Yeah, and I don't know martial arts, so I'm just double screwed. He's got weight advantage and training. Anyways.
Better Twitch TV on this channel when? Are the emotes not enabled?
I can help you with that, Vince, if you don't have it.
Okay, I'll figure that out. Oh, better TTV settings. I've got it down there.
Oh,
we'll fix them. There you go.
I see it's there.
S. It's there. It's working. Enabled right now. Coming to you live. Let's go. It's fixed.
Pepe D.
All right. We're good.
Peepo Pog.
Any cat jam? No cat jam. I'll have to mess with the settings and figure out some of them. But yeah.
Cat jam. Pog. Any more questions? Did I miss anything?
I think we have touched on everything. Scrolling back through. Yeah, I don't see anything. It's kind of weird to like hover over the screen because when I hover over right there, it's like on my camera.
I'm rocking some Razer Naris.
Oh, for your headset?
Yeah.
Oh, you had a
We're
bunch and I missed
matching.
them? Hold up.
I'm
Let's
looking
see
at
here.
those right now for price point.
Not including the fact that some game manufacturers might not see the profit of a Game Pass game where an individual sale per game. So the profit of your game being on Game Pass is, first of all, exposure for your game. There have been a lot of indie titles that have blown up because they've been available on Game Pass, on both Game Pass for PC and Xbox Game Pass. And like the developers have come out and said, our game got a lot more notoriety and a lot more sales because they see people playing it on Twitch, and people who don't have Game Pass or don't want to have Game Pass just go buy it. So it's both the games that are coming out on PC and in the Xbox library. So that's a little bit of the value there. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you were asking, but it kind of sounded like that's where you were going. So I did my best to answer. But hopefully that covers it. You had another one, Joker?
I need to look more into that Game Pass, dude. That's all I really want to say.
I've been subscribed since it was available.
Everyone keeps telling me to do that. I need to get informed on that thing.
Yeah. As for price point, it's not a guarantee that you are getting every game. You might get the games that are current, but what about when they release new games and don't include them? Unless I missed the answer. So every Microsoft first-party game will be included on Xbox Game Pass as soon as it launches. When Forza Horizon 4 came out, both on PC and Xbox, that was available. And when, what was the most recent one? Crackdown 3 came out, that was available. It wasn't a very good game, but it was there. Sea of Thieves was available on Xbox Game Pass as soon as that launched.
Crackdown.
Also, Outer Worlds,
Whoa.
which was the like sci-fi Fallout game from Obsidian, was available at launch, included with Game Pass. So it was
Hey,
right
what
on
about
there.
that Minecraft Dungeons game? What
Also
were your
available.
final thoughts on that?
Minecraft Dungeons was incredible for, I would call it baby's first Diablo.
Okay. Yeah,
That's how I look at it.
It's kind of how I figured it would end up being.
It was very
Cool.
fun for about 15 hours, you know?
Yeah.
But it was
That's not bad.
it was a puddle, not a lake, you know? It was very wide, but not very deep.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
So, Killer Instinct, yeah, that's another one. But that was free to play at launch, but it didn't include all the characters, I believe, for Killer Instinct. So, all right, so we are approaching the 2-hour mark for our podcast now. It is about to hit 5 o'clock. I think that this has been absolutely incredible. We had some of our oil princes roll through and drop some subs. We had a new sub from Jimmy Pogchamp. Thank you. As well as a new follow from Jimmy and McWalls 420. So thank you guys for all of your support. Do you have any closing statements? Anything you want to leave with, Joker?
I just want to say thanks. Thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate it. It was a fun podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back next week, hopefully, right, Vince?
Yes. This was a test run to see if, firstly, there was an audience for this kind of content, which, I mean, y'all showed up and y'all showed out. I mean, whether it was because we were entertaining or because you support us and you love us, thank you guys for being here. I mean, you guys are the reason that we get up and do all this, you know? Like, I cannot say how much it warms my heart to continue to produce this kind of content and see such a positive reception to it. I mean, this is why I do what I do, is because of you guys coming out here and doing this.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you.
Said it better.
Thank you so much for that. First of all, we will be live again next Saturday talking about graphics cards for PC, the new 3080 series, the 3070 series, the 3090 series, all of these things that are coming out and selling out immediately as soon as they're available. So you got something to look forward to there. And we might come up with a couple more topics if we don't think we can talk about that for quite as long as we want to. But in the meantime, you guys are absolutely incredible. I have nothing but love for you. You guys are amazing. Like I said, you're the reason we do what we do. Much love. I'm not going to look through it like he does. It's only cute when he does it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to come here and enjoy this with us. Take care.
Thank you guys. Have a great night. Can they hear me?
Yeah, it's not over yet. They can still hear us.
Hey guys.
Guys, it's ending now.
Thank you for the 100 bits, Jimmy.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. You're really cute.